Have you ever had anxiety when speaking in English? Perhaps you lose your train of thought or are afraid of saying anything incorrectly. It is a common occurrence. Even proficient English speakers occasionally find it difficult to communicate with confidence. Worrying about what other people think is frequently the source of the dread. Things like, what if I am wrong? Or they might take over if they do not understand me. Speaking becomes stressful rather than natural as a result. Here's the reality, though. No one ever speaks flawlessly. Even native speakers make mistakes, pause, and rephrase. The distinction is that they do not allow it to deter them. They simply do not stop chatting. I will go over how to overcome anxiety and speak English well in this video. I will discuss the causes of this concern, easy ways to sound more assured, and effective practice techniques. To communicate effectively, you do not need to have an impeccable vocabulary or immaculate grammar. All you need are few simple tactics and the correct attitude. By the conclusion, you will have a well-defined strategy to speak English more fluently in any setting. You will know exactly what to do whether you are with friends, coworkers, or even complete strangers. I will start by explaining why speaking English can be intimidating. Speaking in English can make us anxious, not because of the actual words but rather because of our mental processes. What is the greatest fear? Judgment. Nobody likes to make a fool of themselves or sound foolish. As soon as we talk, ideas begin to flood our minds. What if I speak a word incorrectly? What if they chuckle? How can I finish my sentence if I freeze? These ideas put pressure on oneself, turning speech into a test rather than a dialogue. Comparison is another factor. Fluent speakers seem so natural to us when we hear them. I don't. The fact that they have been speaking English for years, if not their whole lives, is easy to ignore. In the meantime, you continue to grow, learn, and build self-assurance. It would be like comparing a rock star to a novice guitarist if you were to compare yourself to them. It is unfair. Experiences from the past also matter. Perhaps you once used English and were embarrassed by someone's correction. Perhaps you had trouble coming up with the correct words and now you pause whenever you talk. We become even more terrified of making a mistake again since these experiences linger with us. This dread stems in large part from overanalyzing. You may be so preoccupied with avoiding errors that you pause before speaking. However, the majority of individuals do not give a damn about little mistakes. Consider it. Do you judge someone if they make a few blunders when speaking your language? Most likely not. You value the effort they put out. English is no different. It is very normal to feel anxious. It does not imply that your English is poor. It simply shows that you are concerned. In some circumstances, including as public speaking, job interviews, and meeting new people, even natural speakers experience anxiety. Being flawless is not important. It is all about accepting your flaws, rather than considering the possibility of failure. Consider this: what if I find out? Every error is merely a step in the process. It becomes easier the more you talk. But how can we truly overcome this fear? Many people believe that they must be confident before they may talk. They wait for the ideal time, the ideal atmosphere, or an unexpected burst of bravery. However, that time never arrives. Self-assurance does not just happen. It comes after, not before, speaking. Consider any ability, such as playing an instrument, riding a bike, or cooking. You do not have confidence at first. You are first uncertain. However, you get better the more you practice. And the terror subsides. It is the same when speaking English. Even well-known individuals have had difficulties with this. One of the world's most successful investors, Warren Buffett, used to be afraid of public speaking. At all costs, he stayed away from it. However, he was aware that he needed to move on. He so enrolled in a public speaking school and made himself practice. He became more self-assured with time. He now talks as if it were inconsequential in front of thousands. English language learners experience the same problem. It feels strange when you speak for the first time. It was a little simpler the second time. It becomes instinctive after the 100th time. You do not hold out for assurance. You create it by doing something. But what if I make mistakes, some people ask. It is a step in the process. Even native speakers are prone to errors. The distinction is that they do not allow it to deter them. It is like waiting for a bus that never arrives while you wait to feel ready. You must begin to walk. Although the fear will not go away right away, it will get less each time you talk. Being fearless is not the definition of confidence. It involves speaking in spite of anxiety. Additionally, it gets easier the more you do it. So, how does one go about developing genuine confidence? It does not have to be intimidating to speak English. You do not have to start lengthy discussions right away. Small victories are the most effective approach to boost confidence. Begin with casual, relaxed discussions. Greet your neighbor this morning. How is your day going? Ask the cashier. These little moments build up. They assist you in being at ease when speaking English in everyday situations. Another excellent trick is speaking to oneself in English. Give an explanation of your work. I am brewing coffee. I am going to add sugar. I need more milk, I see. Although it can seem odd at first, it trains your brain to think in English. When you communicate, focus on clarity rather than speed. Many students believe that in order to appear fluent, they must speak quickly. Fast speaking, however, does not equate to greater English. Reduce your speed. Pay attention to how you pronounce words. It allows you more time to reflect and makes you simpler to understand. Reading aloud is an easy daily workout. Select a few sentences from a book or a brief article. Say them confidently and clearly. This aids in speaking rhythm and pronunciation. Voice recording is another excellent exercise. Decide on a subject. Record a minute of your speech, then play it back. This enables you to monitor your development over time and identify areas for improvement. Consistency is crucial. Over time, even a tiny move taken daily can have a significant impact. However, what if you become speechless? Although making mistakes is embarrassing, it is the quickest method to learn. Consider how children pick up speech. They frequently use incorrect words, yet nobody finds it funny. Until they get it right, they keep trying. You should handle your English errors in this manner. Indeed, even proficient speakers make mistakes. The phrase "me and my friend went there" is used by native speakers, rather as "my friend and I went there." They occasionally utter things that do not make sense, mix up words, and forget grammar norms. Do they, however, cease talking? No, they simply continue. The fact is that you are the only one who remembers your blunders. Others pass by in a matter of seconds, but you may mentally relive others. And it is actually beneficial if someone corrects you. It indicates that you are gaining new knowledge. Everything can be changed with a simple mental adjustment. I made a mistake instead of thinking. It is embarrassing. I made a mistake, think. It implies that I am getting better. You come closer to getting something right every time you make a mistake. The important thing is to keep talking. You will make fewer errors the more you practice. However, no matter how proficient you get, mistakes will always be a part of the process. And that is all right. But what if you make a mistake and someone laughs? Do you fear that others will criticize your English? You are not by yourself. A lot of students are afraid of making blunders in front of other people. Here's the reality, though. The majority do not give a damn. They are excessively preoccupied with their personal affairs. Consider it. Do you criticize someone who speaks your original language with an accent? Or are you grateful for the effort? Most people respect those who make an effort. English is no different. But what if someone gives you a nasty correction? First, maintain your composure. Their response speaks louder for them than for you. While some people enjoy pointing out errors, it does not necessarily mean you are doing something incorrectly. You can either disregard them or reply, "Thanks for the correction." Remember that being impolite is not the same as giving constructive criticism. It is really beneficial when someone corrects you politely. Additionally, join in on someone else's laughter. Being flawless is not the goal of confidence. It is about not being rattled by little things. The more at ease you are, the weaker their response will be. The majority of people will appreciate your work. It is remarkable when they notice that you are attempting. Nobody is expecting you to be flawless. Simply continue talking. Let us now make speaking seem more effortless. It takes more than just words to speak English. The way you phrase them matters. Pauses, tone, and rhythm all have a significant impact. Have you ever noticed that natural speakers take their time with words? They naturally add pauses, speed up, and slow down. Speech sounds fluid because of it. Give it a try. The next time you talk, take a moment to think before speaking. It helps others better comprehend you and gives you a more certain tone. There is also the secret of intonation. The English language is not flat. The mood affects the pitches ascent and fall. Really, if you say it in a high pitch, it sounds surprised. It sounds uninterested if you say it flat. You sound more natural when you make little adjustments like this. Then there are words that are used as fillers. They are frequently used by native speakers. As you can imagine, these help to improve the flow of speech. Just do not use them excessively. When you are unsure of how to respond, try rather than give up. That is an excellent query. Or let me think. It keeps the conversation flowing and buys you time. You will sound more natural the more you do these small things. What happens, though, if you have no one with whom to practice? Although it may seem challenging, speaking English alone is completely feasible. Since you are in charge of the pace, practicing by yourself can really help you get better more quickly. The secret is to incorporate English into your everyday activities in a way that feels organic. AI voice assistants like Google Assistant and Siri are also available. Try using voice commands or asking them questions in English. It makes you reply naturally and talk clearly. Another simple technique for practice is reading aloud. Read aloud from a book, article, or even the lyrics of a song. Pay attention to expression and clarity. Merely practicing does not equate to practicing less. Little regular routines build up. What about using English to think? At first, mentally translating seems normal, but it really slows down and makes speaking more difficult. Going from your original language to English and back requires twice as much mental effort. Hesitancy brought on by this delay may increase your level of anxiety. The intention is to think directly in English and avoid translation. Using just one word is an easy way to get started. Examine your surroundings and give items English names. Phone, window, and chair. Next, switch to brief phrases. I am sipping coffee. It is a pleasant day. Make it more complex over time. I consider getting some groceries instead of going to the supermarket. Asking yourself easy English questions is another excellent activity. How did I spend today? Later, what shall I eat? Even in your mind, respond in English. It teaches your brain to think without the need for translation. It also helps to do small daily tasks in English. Switch to English in your phone's settings. Your to-do list should be written in English. Consider that it is 3 p.m. when you check the time. Rather than using your mother tongue. English feels more automatic because of these small habits. Your brain can also be trained by watching English language information without subtitles. You may first miss words, but it is acceptable. Similar to a kid learning a language, your brain begins to infer meaning from context. Consistency is crucial. Your brain adjusts more quickly the more you do it. It will initially feel odd to think in English, but with repetition, it will become instinctive. However, what if you still feel anxious during face-to-face interactions? Speaking in English can feel overwhelming when one is nervous. Your palms start to perspire, your heart quickens, and all of a sudden, phrases that were before simple vanish. The good news is that you can teach yourself to speak confidently and maintain your composure. It all comes down to managing your nerves with basic tactics. First, let us talk about breathing. Your breathing becomes shallow and short when you are nervous, which exacerbates your tenseness. Try deep breathing to remedy this. Exhale via your lips after taking a slow, deep breath through your nose and holding it there for a moment. Prior to speaking, repeat this a few times. It instantly helps you relax by informing your brain that you are safe. Then, speak more slowly. When anxious, a lot of people speak quickly, which makes their words difficult to grasp. However, speaking rapidly does not translate into fluency. Actually, you sound more assured when you slow down. You may think more clearly and give yourself more time when you pause between ideas. Remind yourself that silence is common in talks if you feel pressured to continue talking. It is perfectly acceptable to take a moment to collect your thoughts. Changing your emphasis is another important step. Speakers who are nervous tend to dwell too much on their errors. They are concerned about their pronunciation, grammar, or word recall. However, in practice, most people do not give a damn about little mistakes. All they want is to comprehend you. Put connection first rather than perfection. Consider what you want to convey rather than how well you communicate it. Even native speakers make mistakes, pause, and rephrase. It is typical. Speaking aloud while you are alone yourself is a fantastic method to work on maintaining composure. Read a brief passage, discuss your day, or explain what you are doing. Becoming accustomed to hearing your own voice in English is the aim. If you make a mistake, fix it and move forward. It will feel more natural the more you do this. Visualization is the next helpful tip. Imagine yourself speaking clearly and calmly before you start. Let us say the talk is going smoothly. By doing this, you can teach your brain to anticipate success rather than failure. You will most likely suffer if you anticipate to. However, you will be more at ease and perform better if you have high expectations for yourself. Try practicing in relaxed settings if anxiety is still a major issue for you. Begin with brief, straightforward discussions. Chat with a friend, order meals in English, or converse with a store cashier. Over time, little victories boost confidence. Speaking in larger conversations will not be as intimidating once you are at ease in these settings. Remember that nerves are normal, too. Even seasoned presenters face anxiety occasionally. But you will learn to regulate those emotions and maintain your composure with practice. The objective is not to totally eradicate anxiety. It is to talk in spite of it. It becomes easier each time. And what if your studies or job require you to speak English? It can be intimidating to speak English in a formal or professional context. There is pressure to answer promptly, sound professional, and properly explain concepts. However, you may confidently handle these situations if you are prepared. Many believe that speaking English requires a particular level of proficiency. They hold off until they are more confident, have a larger vocabulary, or have improved grammar. However, that day never arrives. Nobody feels prepared when they wake up. Speaking is not a prerequisite for confidence. Speaking is the source of it. You will be waiting interminably if you wait until you feel fully ready. Consider how children pick up a language. Before babies begin to speak, they spend years not studying. They start talking right away. They mispronounce words. They enunciate words incorrectly. They are always making mistakes. However, they continue. They pick up knowledge through experience. That is precisely the way you ought to approach English. It is okay if you are anxious. It simply shows that you are concerned. However, do not allow that emotion stop you. You do not need to wait for the ideal opportunity to speak. It might never happen. Now is the ideal moment to begin. You will get better faster if you start early. I will give you a challenge. Choose one suggestion from this video and give it a try right now. Say aloud one sentence. Observe a natural speaker. Watch a subtitle-free English language video. One tiny step, please. Because little changes add up to huge ones. I would also be delighted to hear from you. What causes you to feel anxious when speaking in English? Have you ever been in a situation when you wanted to talk but refrained? Let us discuss in the comments section. Someone else who is experiencing similar feelings might find your tale helpful. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe if this video was helpful. More is on the way to help you confidently speak English. Continue speaking and practicing, and I will see you at the next one.